Welcome back, guys, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to a couple new scales. Before we get into the new ones, let's do a quick recap of the scales we already learned. The first scale we learned was the major scale, so we're going to start at C, and this is going to be our 1, then we're going to go up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1. The next scale we learned was our natural minor scale, so we're going to start at C again. This is going to be our 1, it's going to go 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and then back to 1. Now the new scale I want to show you is the harmonic minor scale. Starting from C, this is going to be our 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, natural 7, and then 1. And this scale is one of the most popular scales used in music today, and it's also one of my personal favorites. You can see the only difference between the natural minor and the harmonic minor is that the 7th is either flat or natural. The natural minor has the flat 7, while the harmonic minor has the natural 7. And since this note changes, it also changes the scale degree for the chord progression. Let's go over the scale degrees of the harmonic minor scale. So if C is our root, we're going to go up a 3rd and a 5th, which means that our 1 is minor. Next note is D, up a 3rd and a 5th, we get a 2nd diminished chord. Our next note is the E flat, we're going to go a 3rd and a 5th, and we come up with this augmented 3rd chord. Next note is the F, up a 3rd and a 5th, creates this minor 4 chord. Next note is the G, we'll go up a 3rd and a 5th, and we come up with a major 5 chord. Next note is the A flat, we go up a 3rd and a 5th, and we come up with a major 6 chord. And the last note is a B, and once we go up a 3rd and a 5th, we come up with a diminished 7 chord. You're going to be hearing this scale everywhere: pop, trap, R&B, jazz. For trap music, it's really good if you want to get a dark sound because the minor 1 is surrounded by diminished chords. There is a diminished 2nd and a diminished 7th. And you can do a lot of really cool chord progressions with this. We can go 1, 7, 2, 5, 1. You can go 1, 4, 7, 5, 1. That's really cool. In pop and R&B, you're going to hear the 4, 5, 1 a lot. So it's going to go minor 4, then major 5, and then minor 1. Just like the other scales, experiment and see which chord progression you like the best. So the major scale, the natural minor scale, and the harmonic minor scale are kind of the big 3. That's what you're going to hear in the majority of music today. So those are the 3 scales that you want to focus on the most, but I'm going to show you a couple other scales right now just in case you want to switch it up. Let's go over a couple ethnic scales. The first one I want to show you is the minor Hungarian scale. So starting at C, this is going to be our 1. It's going to go 1, 2, flat 3, sharp 4, 5, flat 6, 7, and then back to 1. The next scale I want to show you is the Arabic scale. So C is our 1, then it goes to flat 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7, and then 1. You can actually hear me using the Arabic scale in a song I released a while back.
Forefront, cutting edge, high fashion. Catch me in a high rise, high Hamptons. Make some money, then we off like bandits. Got the squad turning up like ratchets.
I was just pretty much doing this descending pattern in thirds and then just kind of walking back up. This next scale is called the major pentatonic scale. The reason it's called pentatonic is because penta means 5 and there's only 5 notes within the scale. And this one is really simple. So if we start at C, this is our 1, it just goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and that's it. And this scale is really popular in Asian cultures. You're going to hear this one in traditional Chinese music as well as Japanese music. The thing about these ethnic scales is in their culture, they don't really focus on chord progressions. So don't really worry about using the scale degrees for this. Use this more melodically. If you have to find a chord or a bass line under it, just use common tones like before. But these scales are definitely favored towards simplicity. The last 2 scales I want to show you are the blues scales. There is a major and a minor blues scale. So the first one goes like this. We're going to start at C. This is going to be our 1. Then it goes 1, 2, flat 3, natural 3, 5, 6, 1. And for the minor blues scale, we're going to start at C again. This is going to be our 1. So it's going to go 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, natural 5, flat 7, and then 1. Just like the ethnic scales, you are using the blues scales melodically. Don't worry about the chord progressions. If you tried to make a chord progression from this, it wouldn't make sense, because if you're skipping one, you get an augmented, then it's a minor, then you're skipping it, just goes right to the G, so then it's this chord. It's best to use a minor blues scale on top of a minor scale and use a major blues scale on top of a major scale. And the reason this scale is so unique is because of this chromatic movement right here, and you can get that in the major scale as well. It sounds really good melodically, just walking up it. It's really good as a grace note when you're playing piano. You can kind of just slide your finger down or up. Yeah, and then you can do really cool riffs. And the same thing applies for the major scale. The way that I like to use it is to kind of just sprinkle it in certain places. So let's say we're doing a jazz thing. We're doing 1, 6, 2, 5. And then maybe at that 5 chord, I just put a little bit of the blues scale in it. Just adding those really little chromatic passes is always fun. So those are a couple new scales that you can try out in your next beat. There's really hundreds of scales, but I'm not going to show every single one to you because at the end of the day, you're not going to hear that in modern music. So once again, you should focus on the big three: the major scale, the natural minor scale, and the harmonic minor scale. For the other scales, try to make something with those. Once again, really focus on the melody. Don't worry about the chord progression. But if you're ever getting beat block, scales are a great way to spark some inspiration. Simply Google music scales and you're going to find a ton of new combinations.